Good morning, good morning. Well, shit, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Let me get this pulled up here. So I've watched a bunch of clips of this, but I haven't seen her myself, the whole video anyway.
World. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest. We want the best for our country.
How does this look professional?
This is why Charlie started turning.
Just out of curiosity, how does that make her look professional? And how do you take somebody serious that comes in somewhere looking like that?
Point USA in the first place. He didn't trust the radicalized liberal teachers. And this past Saturday, it was a school teacher, of all people, a school teacher that attempted.
Damn, I didn't know that dude was a school teacher. That's crazy.
To change our history for the worst with bullets. And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me?
What's up, Tex?
So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up.
The fact that she's even responding in that lets you know that bothers her, right? There's some other motive there that I'm very curious. She's trying to thrust herself into politics for sure.
Up to me. She introduced herself and she was saying, she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss."
And I'll be 100% honest with y'all. The reason I'm watching this is because all the clips I seen yesterday have this lady looking into the camera, wild-eyed as fuck. And it's real creepy. But I just wanted to see if they edited that to make it look that way, or she really done it.
To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night."
So that dinner was for the press, really? It wasn't for just regular average people, I take it. And what the fuck was she doing there then?
You are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you. To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?" And following that conversation, it was time to take our seats and we went into the big ballroom where the dinner was. And one of the first things I noticed when I walked into that room was quite literally the proximity of the opposing outlets to one another. So you have one table here that's Politico, and another table here that's Fox, and another table here that's WAPO, and you're all crammed together, elbow to elbow. And to make the night even more of a spectacle, every single 10-person table had 10 bottles
together. Not we're all crammed together, but they're all crammed together.
Wine.
People have a way when they talk. If you listen to the words that they use, I'm starting to realize that. Like,
and the president of the White House Correspondents Association, she did a great job of trying to make the evening have that feeling of Americana. You know, we were in a room celebrating freedom of speech despite our differences. And the U.S. Marine Band performed the national anthem so beautifully. And then shortly thereafter, gunshots rang out and total chaos ensued. And you guys have all seen what happened next because there are 1,000 videos of it. So let's discuss that fact for a second. If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot. Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the number one rule of journalism. And again, ironically enough, the shooter was a teacher. You have these people who are supposed to be teaching our children the future of this country, and he's so unhinged that he is able to teach children by day and then attempt to murder the president of the United States by night.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work.
Why is this video monetized? I'm just wondering. So is it?
Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello, my name is
on TikTok.
Because let me tell you something. They don't automatically monetize these videos. You have to turn monetization on. I don't get that.
Teens get over 50 built-in protections from the start. But for parents, further visibility and control of content can help create the right environment. That's where family pairing comes in.
Everything is about
And in
money to these people. Every fucking thing.
His manifesto, he starts by contextualizing himself by saying, I am a citizen of the United States of America. And while we may have big problems with illegal immigration in this country, I have to tell you, we have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens. This is what got my husband killed. This is what has led to 3 legitimate attempts on President Trump's life. And I can speak firsthand to that unbearable toll that this must take on our First Lady. There has never been a president who has faced this many assassination attempts in Americans' entire history. And after each one, the reaction from the far left has been, at best, a shrug, and in some cases, a sick disappointment that the shooter was unsuccessful. We are all human beings. And if you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one? That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady. He said that she had the glow of an expected widow. The glow of an expected widow. Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality. In this culture we're living in, absorbs disagreement as a form of personal.
That shit before the president was, before they attempted that on him. I'm trying to be careful what I say, because I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know when he said it. But if he said it before, it's just a coincidence. It's not like he, you know what I mean, foreseen something.
Betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, truly, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all.
So you're
every morning I wake up.
So in 1 minute you're bitching about the radical, and then you're saying people don't deserve to live at all. Okay. All right. I got you.
To a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country. The most unthinkable tragedies have now become commonplace in our daily headlines, and yet the media finds a way to conveniently explain away violence. This is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. What is happening right now is something none of us can afford to ignore. The evil forces working to divide.
Is it just me, or when I look at this lady, I see fucking Medusa? She looks like she's got snakes coming out of her head and eyes that could just kill anybody. She's got resting bitch face.
Us, to distract us, and to pull us apart has never been stronger. This is a moment for Americans to come together and decide what kind of country we are going to be before we lose our country altogether. In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." And this is why my husband created Turning Point USA, so we could have civil discourse and debate and open dialogue. Because when we stop talking to each other, bad things happen. I am choosing to fight for America, for my children, for your children, and for our humanity. Because we all need to do our part. And by the grace of God, we will succeed, and America will remain what she was always called to be, a shining city on a hill, a light to the world. So let me give you a perfect example of how it's done. My husband did it best and left us the blueprint on how to have uncomfortable conversations with those who disagree. Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
Do you know what eating?
What was that anyway? Why did she feel the need to come on here? I don't get it with this lady. It's almost like she wants to, well, it's not like she does. She wants to be the star of the show. You married somebody. Other than being a pageant winner, I don't see what she's got to offer, right? Other than an evil ass look and them creepy ass fucking eyes. She's just not very likable. And she comes off as a bitch. And excuse my language, but people that come off like that don't go very far, for sure. People just don't like them. When people won't accept who you are for the way you act and shit, they're not going to accept you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know that already. Fuck. That lady is creepy as fuck, man. Let's go see what old Dave talking about this morning.
First, and we have footage out of Iran after Iran opened fire on unknown aircraft over Tehran, appearing to shoot down at least one of them. Multiple shots were fired on anti-aircraft batteries. This is after this also happened the other day. Unclear if they hit anything then, but now we have footage of them taking down an unknown aircraft. On top of that, we have more and more U.S. resources that are surging in. President Trump could be lining up to launch a renewed major military campaign, and that includes the U.S. Marines possibly moving in for ground operations. Plus, we have a lot more updates to get into. You're not going to want to miss one part of this whole video. As always, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Huge boost to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Will the war restart? When will it restart? How will it restart? Will ground operations happen? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the notification bell, all notifications on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are open. Send me any tips you got.
What's up,
as you can see,
I
honestly out of the country,
don't
but I
think
am getting closer to getting home, getting back to the studio. Excited for that as well. Making them
ground fighting. I just don't. Now, will they kill some of our men? Yeah, absolutely. But they won't be prosperous for sure. They just don't have the training.
Most of it while we're moving, doing some work here overseas. Let me know if the audio is good. Trying to make sure it's crisp for you guys in the limited setting we have. Now, let's get into it. So right here, so we're going to open with the reports, and then we're going to get into the footage, and then we have a ton of stuff to get into. Again, you're not going to want to miss one part of it. It says reports tonight. This is May 1st. So this would be overnight into Friday morning. It says reports tonight of air defense activity, supposedly to counter surveillance drone threats over Tehran, Iran tonight. This as U.S. President Donald Trump was briefed today by U.S. Central Command Commander Admiral Bradley Cooper on military options on Iran. We talked about that yesterday. He has 3 options: a massive bombing campaign, ground operations to secure the Strait of Hormuz, and then a special operations to secure the enriched uranium. Trump now making more comments about option 3 that we will get into later in the video. Make sure you stick around for it. So we are hearing reports that there is massive anti-aircraft activity. And then right here from Shin, IRGC-owned Tasnim News confirms anti-aircraft activity in Western Central.
They wouldn't
and
have
Southeastern
drones
Tehran
over there unless they're planning on trying to go back in or attack. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't be trying to gather intel.
Claims the anti-aircraft is engaging drones and recon UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles. Who do those drones belong to? No one's taking responsibility or credit, but you can almost certainly guarantee it is the United States. Again, Trump had some comments on that we're going to get to later in this video. Now, let's get to the footage. So this shows a object in the sky. Give me 1 second here. So this shows an object in the sky being shot down by Iranian aircraft.
And I'm going to tell you, I think one of the reasons why Iran ain't like shooting rockets and stuff off, they're trying to hold back on what they do have left for an invasion. So that lets me know that they quite low.
We don't know what it is. Likely a drone, but we do not know what was shot down. Let's watch the footage. So you can see it right there, bright light in the sky. And then boom, it's been hit, coming down. So let's watch it again. So that bright light right there is whatever the object is over the skies of Tehran that was hit and was shot down. Again,
y'all think that they'll ever send anything up there for them to shoot it down because they know they'll take the equipment back to wherever their base is and could track it? Y'all ever think about that?
Of the situation is it is likely a United States recon drone, and I'm going to explain more when we get to Trump's comments, where he more or less seemed to indicate that all these mysterious sightings over Iran are in fact the United States and are in fact our drones. But this is the footage that you see on your screen right here of an unknown object that was over Tehran getting blasted out of the sky. And then right here, we have more footage where you can hear some distinct pops of the anti-aircraft fire. Listen very carefully. Let's watch. Sorry, so you can see the flashes. You might not be able to hear it. It is awfully quiet. So you can see the flashes in the sky there. Look closely. All those flashes are anti-aircraft fire. And then right here, put this on the screen, you should be able to hear distinct pops.
Hey man, what's the best advice you can give someone that's in sales?
Switch to Monday CRM.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
Hold up. You're thinking about old.
Right there. So what you hear on your screen here, right there.
What's up?
That is the anti-aircraft fire over Tehran.
Yeah, but they have
jammed unload on what, again, we don't know for sure, but is likely drones. And at the same time, fighter jets were scrambled. We have jet activity. This is from Shin over northwestern and western Tehran. So fighter jets are in the air. We know they have the F-4 Phantom that is still up and flying. We also know they have some MiG-29s provided by Russia. Unclear if they were provided during the ceasefire or before, but the Iranians have launched both MiG-29s and F-4s previously during the ceasefire, and now we have word that they are up again. So now, why do I think these are likely United States aircraft? Well, President Trump more or less seemingly indicating they are. Let's watch his comments.
So we're negotiating with them, and they read how well they're doing, and they're sitting in a cave, and all their leaders are dead. Everyone's dead around them. Missiles are all over the place. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no nothing. We can fly right over the middle of Tehran without being shot at because they have no anti-aircraft. They have nothing.
So President Trump right there indicating that we are flying right over Tehran, not fighter jets, but drones. And remember, guys, we have some very sophisticated drones that the public doesn't even know about. I've covered those in previous videos, but they could be MQ-4C Triton drones. They could be a variety of surveillance drones,
Nobody knows
including the
about
more
them. How does he
classified
know
ones
about them?
that the U.S. government doesn't even acknowledge exist. But these comments right here where he's talking about flying over Tehran, that to me indicates that these mysterious objects likely were U.S. drones. Now, President Trump right here talking about essentially the nuke negotiations, the enriched uranium. Let's go ahead and watch his comments right now.
They said, well, maybe the B-2 attack wasn't so good. Even to this day, I hear it, because we want to get the nuclear dust. It's way down there. You need excavators and everything to get it, but we want to get it. We'll take it one way or the other. We'll get it. We'll either get it or we'll take it. They'll either give it to us or we'll take it. But
so President Trump saying they will either give us the nuclear dust, the enriched uranium, or we will take it. That again would leave the door open for the ground operation, for the special operations raid at Isfahan,
Here's the
where
problem.
they
You can't
have
leave
much
these
of their
people
highly
alone
enriched
now
uranium,
until
if
the
not
mission
all of
is
it. It is believed that is
accomplished.
the main
You're gonna
site.
kick
Now,
hornets.
speaking about the United States, right here, what you see on your map here is a U.S. RC-135 rivet joint spy plane heading to the Middle East, potentially pre-strike or pre-escalation posture. So what is the RC-135 rivet joint? It is an unbelievably sophisticated and advanced spy aircraft. It is capable of soaking up, essentially acting as a command and control node, if you will, a central heartbeat of the nervous system when it comes to the air power. It can soak up all that intelligence, all the signals, everything it needs, and then it can rapidly spit that out like your heart pumps blood to the whole body. It takes in the blood, pumps it out. This plane is capable of doing the same thing and making sure everyone in the battle space has all the information. Now, we saw these actually deployed to Venezuela and over Mexico, or near Mexico, I should say, prior to the Maduro raid, prior to some of the cartel stuff, prior to some of the boat strikes. We saw them in the Middle East right before the Iran war kicked off, and now we are seeing them back again, which is another data point that would appear to indicate we are getting ready to turn this back on and the bombs will start falling again. At the same time, what you see here is a U.S. Air Force logistics bridge continues with 11 C-17 Globemaster 3s. Those are the big, big, big cargo planes. Every day we've been talking about this. The power, the air power, the airlifts continue, and they are flooding into the region at this hour. So we are continuing to bring planes in. And at the same time, right here
They have
in
it.
the United
Wow.
Kingdom, a B-52. Right there, B-52 on a training run in England. So we continue to have our B-1 bombers, our B-52 bombers. In the video yesterday, we talked about the B-1 bomber that was filmed. We remain at a high alert status, ready to restart the bombings at a moment notice. And then right here, the USS Boxer, which of course has the Marines, the Marine Expeditionary Unit on it, crossing the Malacca Strait. This was on May 1st, so today. No official word exactly where it's going, but it certainly appears headed to the Middle East. If we are going to do ground operations to secure the Strait of Hormuz, this is exactly what you would need to do it. You would need the Marines. You would need that Marine Expeditionary Unit could go in and get that job done. Now, some crazy photos. So when the war was on, we were hitting the airport, the Mashhad airport in Iran very, very, very hard. What you see here on your screen is photos of Iranian state-owned planes, including the one that is believed to have been for senior government officials. Right there, one of them completely, essentially blown in half, sawed in half. Another one right here. So we took out their aircraft, the big ones they use for their state-owned airline, which again ferries around the senior leaders in Iran. All right, next up, a little bit of negotiations. It says, according to Barack Ravid of Axios, Iran has sent an unspecified counter proposal through Pakistani mediators to the U.S. in response to the most recent changes made by the U.S. to pass proposals on a lasting ceasefire deal. Iran has made two main demands since the nominal ceasefire starting negotiations began: continued enrichment and the cessation of hostilities between Lebanese, Hezbollah, and Israel, but has yet to realize points of convergence on these issues with both the U.S. and Israel. So we've gotten now a new offer from the Iranians. We don't know exactly what is in that offer or what the offer says, but unlikely they're going to give up their enriched uranium. And we know that because Ali Khurasan, who is part of Iran's National Security Committee, came out and said the Iranian nuclear issue is closed and not subject to negotiations. And of course, the Iran nuclear issue is the main point of negotiations. So they are not budging. Another data point that we need to look at and put into our assessments, which again, if they're not going to negotiate on the one point the United States is most adamant about, it's hard to imagine that the bombs will not start falling again. And then lastly, right here, CNN claims at least 16 U.S. military installations were hit by Iranian attacks during the war, more than half of U.S. installations in the Middle East. So we are now getting more reports of the damage assessment, with a new report claiming 16 U.S. bases in the Middle East were struck during the 6 weeks or so, 5 weeks or so of active combat operations. So I'm going to pull this down off the screen. So as of me filming this on May 1st, we now know that Iran has opened fire on unknown aircraft and definitely shot one of them down. As the footage shows, no one is taking responsibility or credit for who those aircraft belong to. All signs point to it likely being U.S. drones. And on top of that, we now have more and more resources continuing to flood in, including an RC-135 rivet joint spy plane. Always pay attention to the movement on the ground. Always pay attention to the airplane movements, and the movements seem to indicate this situation could be getting ready to heat back up. So I will continue to monitor the situation the best I can from overseas. As always, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know all your...
Well, hell. Ain't looking too good for Iran, is it? Not looking too good for them. Let's see, they talking about epic period on Fox News. I'll be glad when this shit's over, to be honest with you.
Here at Georgia Solar Pros, we serve the North Florida and South.
The U.S. blockade on Iranian ports forcing the regime to store its oil instead of selling it. And that stoppage could soon force Iran to shut down production. And that would deal a devastating blow to an economy that is already in free fall.
So now, just yesterday, the CENTCOM commander, Brad Cooper, he was back at the White House, the admiral presenting the new war plan with the president, giving him the option. Should an order to end the ceasefire be given now? President Trump also weighing in on the current state of play with reporters when he said the following.
Iran is proving to be very stubborn. The talks seem like they are stalled. Are you getting antsy to break the ceasefire?
Well, I mean, I don't know what stubborn is, because really nobody knows what the talks are except myself and a couple of other people. They want to make a deal badly. And we have a problem because nobody knows for sure who the leaders are. It's a little bit of a problem, you know. The leaders have been wiped out along with their military, almost all of their military.
Lucas Tomlinson is reporting live from Dubai for us this morning. Hi, Lucas.
Good morning, Dana. From an OPEC-free UAE also being celebrated today as that goes into effect. The now former oil cartel member free to pump and export as much oil as at once, including through a pipeline to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, which remains effectively closed. And General Jack Keane says the war has now ground to a stalemate.
They, in their minds, can outlast us in the sense that political pressure, getting closer to the midterms, economic pressure with gas prices on the administration, they believe, even though we have the economic blockade, at some point we will end the war, stop everything, or make a deal with them.
And while enforcing the more than 2-week-old blockade, U.S. military Central Command said it has turned away 44 vessels now. Other ships remain stuck pierside in Iran or at anchor offshore. The U.S. Navy's blockade has made life even more miserable for Iran's 93 million people. As you can see by this chart, some estimates say Iran's economy is on the verge of collapse. And Americans back home also feeling the effects of this war. Despite the 3-week-old ceasefire, the national average for the price of gasoline is now the highest in 4 years. In an effort to fill the gap, U.S. crude oil exports have hit record highs, surpassing 6 million barrels a day.
What's up, Jack Rabbit?
Yesterday, we learned from the U.S. military's top officer, Iran is getting help from an old Cold War foe. Here's Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker, chairman of the Armed Services Committee.
General Kane, there's no question that Vladimir Putin's Russia is taking serious action to undermine our efforts for success in Iran.
There's definitely some action there.
In addition to leaving OPEC, the UAE now telling residents not to travel to Iran, Iraq, or Lebanon as negotiations continue between the U.S. and Iran.
If you have to be told not to
Thank you,
fucking
Lucas.
travel
Stay
to
safe
Iran,
and thank you.
Want to bring in former
You
CENTCOM
need to go
spokesman
and
Joe
go over
Pacino. And Joe, welcome to our program here. It's good to have you on here.
Hi, Joe.
A couple of things here. The blockade's doing its job by the U.S. Navy. That economy in Iran is getting battered. It seems the IRGC is in charge. If you agree with all three of those things, what now, Joe?
Well, I think we resume, Bill, the military destruction here. I think what you've got is you're laying two measures of pressure on top of each other. You got the military pressure, and then on top of that, you got the economic destruction really here imposed by the blockade. You know, the military component of this has in many ways already been won, but we can continue the strikes on infrastructure, on bridges, on oil facilities, on command and control nodes. You know, continue those strikes, and then really just behind that, continue the economic stranglehold we've got.
They've been repeating the same shit for 2 weeks. This doesn't tell anybody anything.
Top of Iran and all those pressures, the idea is that we'll bring them back to a negotiation that we can live with.
General Jack Keane was on our show, on Fox and Friends this morning. It's a little bit of a different point of view. Watch here.
I think option one is return and finish what we started. We can go through a list of targets, but there's leadership targets out there. There's ballistic missiles out there. There's a remnants of the nuclear program that's out there. Also, what do we do about the Straits of Hormuz? We can't leave them in Iranians' hands. They believe now they own it. We have to militarily force that to be cleared and secured and open. And we have the military capability to do that.
So obviously, President Trump's being given all of these options as commander in chief. You can look across. Do you think it's just more, from your point of view, do you think it's more prudent to wait, see how the economic blockade continues to hurt them, especially if they have to change over and stop pumping oil?
I do not, Dana. I think we should start the military.
I wonder if they'll just let that shit go on the ground to keep from stopping.
Campaign here in the next, 48 to 96 hours. Okay. Yeah, and then just continue to really put that military pressure, that military destruction, continue to hit the IRGC facilities, the drone production facilities. We've taken out so much of their military, and I think I would just, consider continuing to attrit the military production, the military facilities there, the command and control. We've now got hypersonic missiles in the region. We have twice the amount of capability in the region, almost twice the amount from when we started this campaign, February 28th. I think if we layer both of these things on at the same time, military pressure, economic destruction at the same time, I think the various, there's three kind of factions inside of Iran that are considering this. I think that leads to diplomatic pressure, which could lead to a negotiation that we can live with, that Israel can live with, and that the Gulf states can live with, frankly.
Great story this morning in the Wall Street Journal talking about the split within the country of Iran. Like the politicians want to cut a deal, but the hardliners do not. With regard to the politicians, the president said this on X on Thursday, said the world has witnessed Iran's tolerance and conciliation. What's being done under the guise of a naval blockade is an extension of military operations against the nation paying the price for its resistance and independence. Continuation of this oppressive approach is intolerable. How do you see Iran?
If I was you, Guy Hart, I'd take it just because it's up higher now than it's ever been, and it's probably not going to get any higher. Right now, you'll get what you're looking for. I know I just sold like 20-something batteries. That I had been saving up off my, well, not really. They were on my solar system and had gotten fucked up over time, but yeah.
Viewing its position as leverage. What are they watching here in our country, Joe?
So really quick, Bill, they're watching the polls, they're watching the gas prices, they're watching the political cycle. And what's clear from watching the White House is that President Trump is not going to feel pressured by the gas prices, by the polls, by the political cycle. And that gives him all of the leverage, because at a certain point, Iran is this economic destruction is just going to crush Iran and crush their ability to fund the war and crush their ability to pay the IRGC. And that will potentially turn to a disloyalty moment with the IRGC.
All right, Joe Bacino, it's great to have you. There's so many things that the president has to decide, and we appreciate your analysis this morning.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
President Trump says Iran wants to make a deal badly, as today marks the 60-day war power deadline, which requires the White House to stop military operations or get approval from Congress. But a senior administration official tells Fox News that war efforts have been terminated since both sides agreed to a ceasefire on April 7th. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth reiterating this stance.
Yeah, we are in a ceasefire right now, which I understand.
How long have you been sitting here? I just need.
President Trump says Iran wants to make a deal badly, as today marks the 60-day war power deadline, which requires.
Turning now to Operation Epic Fury, the head of U.S. Central Command is set to go to the White House later today. He'll be meeting with President Trump and the national security team. Among the issues in the briefing, the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. Brian Yennis, live in Tel Aviv with more. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Dana. Good morning. Well, Iran's Supreme Leader Mushtaba Khamenei has released a new written statement today that was read aloud by a presenter on Iranian state TV. It calls the United States the Great Satan and vows to protect Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities. The statement, also posted on X, says this about Americans, quote, "Those foreigners from thousands of kilometers away who are greedily carrying out transgressions in the Persian Gulf and Sea of Oman have no place here except at the bottom of its waters. Iran will put an end to the hostile enemy's exploitation of the Strait of Hormuz." Now, Khamenei went on to declare that the Strait of Hormuz is under Iran's new management and rules, reiterating Iran's intent to control the strait and continue charging some ships tolls. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Fox that this would be completely unacceptable to the U.S. and the world. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps commander Ahmed Vahidi is thought to actually be the one calling the shots in Iran. The supreme leader, who is said to be seriously wounded from Operation Epic Fury, has not made one public appearance since he became the Ayatollah 2 months ago. But for now, President Trump has opted to extend the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports and continue the economic sanctions with the goal of collapsing Iran's economy, forcing them into a deal to end its nuclear weapons program.
We were able to grab about 350 million crypto assets, and then on top of another 100 that we had recently gotten. So we're almost at half a billion there. And we are freezing bank accounts everywhere. More importantly, we are making people less willing to deal with the regime.
President Trump has not taken new military.
So, oh shit, I didn't mean to change it. So, I'm
turning now to Operation Epic Fury.
I'll put it back about where it was at. I read somewhere yesterday that they're all switching over to the Chinese yen and the Russian ruble. I think that's how you say it. What's up, Zach? But that's why, is so they can have currency without being frozen.
Iran, the vast majority of revenue that would come to it from goods, primarily oil and petrochemicals that are transited from the sea. They already had a failing economy. That's what generated the popular protests at the end of 2025 and the start of 26.
How in the fuck do you have an economy that's failing when you produce that much oil? That doesn't make any sense to me.
But they've proved very resilient in the past to economic pressure, whether that was the pre-JCPOA sanctions or the maximum pressure campaign of the first Trump administration. I think the final thing I'd say on this is that the regime has never prioritized the economic well-being of its own people, even under the previous sanction regimes. When they had limited assets, they still prioritized funds to proxies and to their own military. So I think it remains to be seen how much it will take in terms of economic pressure to get them to make those additional concessions.
General, I mentioned this Wall Street Journal article last hour. I think it was so well done because there's a view inside of Iran. And at the end, the expert says Iranians will suffer hardship, but their pain tolerance threshold is higher. And that's something we really have to gauge. In the meantime, you're in the military, and with regard to hardware in the region, we're about to send a missile in that we've never used before. Okay, it's called a hypersonic missile. Bloomberg headline: U.S. seeks to deploy a hypersonic missile for the first time. It's called the Dark Eagle. It has a range of 1,700 miles, can exceed Mach 5, which is greater than 4,000 miles an hour, $15 million each. I can tell you this, General, we were at the Reagan Defense Forum 2 years ago. And the entire forum was talking about hypersonic weapons because the Russians and the Chinese had beaten us so badly at this, and we had yet to really develop an effective one. Do you have confidence in the hypersonic weapon that we've developed? And if it were to be deployed, could we do it effectively now?
Yes. So to be fair, that's not something that I've tracked closely in terms of this performance of a weapon that has not been tested on the battlefield. I would make one comment that the Central Command submits a number of RFFs or requests for forces, and it implies that the commander is considering various options that might require the use of those forces, such as elements of the 82nd Airborne Division, which are over now in the Middle East, but have not yet been used. And so just because an RFF has gone in, request for forces, doesn't mean there's a plan for its imminent use. But certainly, I think the commander wants to expand the range of options that are available to him beyond those already punishing airstrikes that we've done. It signals greater commitment and resolve on the part of the United States, and I think is something that is clearly being contemplated to use if it turns that this economic...
If I was Trump, I'd go ahead and wipe their fucking ports out. If they're going to play like that, I'd just wipe it all out. If nobody was going to get to use it, but who they said, I'd take it away from everybody.
Pressure that we are applying is not successful.
Okay, we'll see who makes the next move, right? Who's going to throw the next card down. General, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise with us. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Yeah, you got to stomp them people out. You can't
President Trump said
you can't play with them people. Them people over there don't give a fuck. Let's go over to Twitter just to see what they trying to lie to us about. I didn't load up. See what the fuck Mario talking about.
For minutes. I've read all the clips from all the quotes from Trump. I think the most important one is him talking about Iran. He said they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with Iran's proposal. I think that's the most important one. Iran made a proposal earlier today, I think it was, and Trump has already said he's not satisfied with that proposal, and that's That's all while the rhetoric on both sides is escalating and the military buildup and preparations is happening on both sides. So it's not looking good on all fronts right now. I still believe that the war is over and it's still above 50% chance it's over. But I would have said, a few weeks ago, 20% chance the war restarts. And now that percentage is up to maybe 40%, I'd say. Still 60% it's over. Hopefully that 60% is right. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in 2 minutes. Bye.
Damn, this dude's got 159,000 people watching his lives. That's crazy. I don't like putting this fucking Twitter because it backs you out every time. Like you can't just go back like you can on YouTube. You have to start it all over again. It's on April 15th, so the IRGC ain't posted since April 15th. It's April 7th. See, they're not putting anything out. I don't think they got internet service over there. That's how come I don't know what to believe as far as what they're putting out over there. I watched this the other day, I think. This is how they resupplied in damn carriers. That shit was crazy. I watched the whole video on it the other day. The amount of food that they go through is fucking wild, man. Let's see if I can find it. That shit was crazy. Let's see if I can find it. Hey, Gina, how you doing, baby? Yeah, y'all watch this. This is wild. The logistics of this.
Made for anyone with an
Picture this. A floating city the size of 4 football fields, home to 5,000 sailors carrying 50 fighter jets worth billions of dollars, steaming through the Pacific Ocean at 30 knots. The fuel gauges are dropping fast. The nearest friendly port? Over 2,000 miles away. What happens next will absolutely blow your mind. Right now, as you're watching this video, somewhere in the world's oceans, 2 massive warships are performing a deadly dance. They're moving side by side at 17 miles per hour, separated by just 160 feet of churning seawater. Between them, thousands of gallons of highly explosive jet fuel are flowing through hoses suspended over the waves. One tiny mistake, one steering error, and billions of dollars in equipment, along with thousands of lives, could be lost in seconds. In May 1917, a young Navy officer named Chester Nimitz accomplished something that seemed impossible. He figured out how to transfer fuel between moving ships in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. That breakthrough didn't just change naval warfare, it gave America the power to project military strength anywhere on Earth, anytime, for as long as needed. Today, American aircraft carriers can stay at sea for months without ever touching port, thanks to the most dangerous and precise refueling operation ever devised. The USS Eisenhower recently completed 296 days continuously at sea. That's nearly 10 months, operating in hostile waters, all because of this incredible capability that happens in the middle of the ocean. If you're proud of what our Navy accomplishes every single day, type proud in the comments. The fuel challenge, why ocean refueling matters. An aircraft carrier might be nuclear powered, but those 50 FA-18 Super Hornets and F-35 Lightning jets on the flight deck, they need massive amounts of jet fuel. A single Nimitz-class carrier stores about 3 million gallons of aviation fuel, enough to fill your car roughly 75,000 times. But here's the problem. During combat operations, that fuel disappears incredibly fast. During operations in Afghanistan and Iraq, carrier air wings were launching 150 sorties per day. Each FA-18 Super Hornet burns about 1,400 gallons per hour of flight time. An F-35C Lightning burns even more. Do the math and you'll see why keeping these floating air bases supplied with fuel in the middle of the ocean is absolutely critical to American military power. But it's not just aviation fuel. These massive ships also need diesel fuel for backup generators, cooking gas for the galleys feeding 5,000 people, and lubricating oils for countless machines. The carrier itself might run on nuclear power, but everything else requires constant resupply. Before ocean refueling was perfected, warships were limited by their fuel capacity. They could only operate as far from home as their tanks allowed. The British Navy dominated the seas for centuries, partly because they had coaling stations scattered across the globe. But American ingenuity changed everything with a revolutionary concept. Bring the gas station to the ship, not the ship to the gas station. This capability means American carriers can respond to crises anywhere in the world and stay there as long as needed. When tensions flare in the South China Sea, the Middle East, or anywhere else, American naval power can arrive and remain on station indefinitely. The UNREP revolution, mastering the impossible. The technical name for this ocean refueling operation is UNREPARIS, underway replenishment. It's a process so complex and dangerous that only a handful of navies in the world can do it effectively, and none do it better than the United States Navy. During World War II, this technology revolutionized naval warfare.
Let me tell you something. If Iran was going to hit them, that's when they do it. When they were refueling. When everybody was vulnerable on the deck.
Admiral Raymond Spruance's task forces. 38 and 58 operated independently for 7 straight months from February to September 1944 during the Okinawa and Iwo Jima campaigns. They never once returned to port for supplies, yet they expended more than 15,000 tons of ammunition and consumed more fuel in 3 months than Japan produced in all of 1944. The strategic advantage was enormous. While enemy ships had to return to port every few weeks, American carriers could stay on station indefinitely. Admiral William Bull Halsey's Third Fleet steamed over 140,000 miles during the Pacific War while maintaining constant pressure on Japanese forces. Modern UNREP operations are even more impressive. The ships that conduct these ocean refueling missions are called fast combat support ships. The U.S.
What do salespeople hate more than anything in the world?
CRMs. Yep. Well, Monday CRM.
USNS Arctic, for example, can carry 177,000 barrels of fuel oil, 2,150 tons of ammunition, 500 tons of dry stores, and 250 tons of refrigerated food. During a single 6-month deployment, one of these supply ships can transfer over 50 million gallons of fuel to carrier strike groups operating thousands of miles from any port. But here's what makes it truly remarkable. All of this happens while both ships are moving through ocean swells at 15 miles per hour, often in rough weather, sometimes under enemy fire. The dangerous dance, precision in motion. Imagine trying to connect a garden hose between 2 speeding trains, except these trains are 1 000-foot-long warships weighing 100,000 tons each, and instead of water, you're transferring thousands of gallons of highly explosive jet fuel. Welcome to the most dangerous ballet ever performed. The process begins with both ships matching course and speed at exactly 12 to 15 knots. The margin for error is razor thin. At 12 knots, just a 1-degree steering mistake will push the ships 20 feet apart in 1 minute. With only 160 feet of ocean between two massive steel hulls, that's not much room for error. The supply ship acts as the guide vessel and fires what's called a shot line, basically a small projectile trailing a rope aimed across to the aircraft carrier. Sailors on both ships then use this line to pull over progressively heavier cables and hoses. The fuel hose itself can be up to 8 inches in diameter and weighs several tons when filled with fuel. Here's where physics becomes the enemy. The ocean creates something called hydrodynamic forces between the ships. As they move through the water side by side, the ships actually get sucked toward each other like two magnets. Skilled helmsmen must constantly fight this invisible force while maintaining perfect formation for hours at a time. Aircraft carriers always receive fuel on their starboard side. That's the right side when facing forward. This isn't by choice. It's because the massive flight deck literally hangs over the water like a giant shelf, making operations on the port side impossible. The fuel transfer system is called stream, the standard tensioned replenishment alongside method. Modern systems can pump 3,000 gallons per minute. To put that in perspective, it would take less than 2 minutes to completely fill a large home swimming pool. But this isn't pool water. It's highly explosive aviation fuel flowing between two moving ships in the open ocean. Weather warriors, when nature fights back. Mother Nature doesn't care about military schedules. When 20-foot swells start rolling under two connected warships in the middle of the ocean, the operation becomes a test of seamanship that would make old-time sailors proud. The ships can rise and fall 40 feet relative to each other as massive waves pass underneath. During heavy weather operations, both crews work with emergency breakaway procedures constantly in mind. If something goes wrong, if the ships drift too close together or the fuel hose starts to break under stress, they have mere seconds to disconnect before disaster strikes. The fuel coupling is designed with special shear pins that break under excessive pressure, preventing structural damage to either ship. Some of the most challenging ocean refueling operations happen during combat conditions. During the recent Red Sea operations in 2023 to 2024, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group conducted UNREP operations while under constant threat of Iranian-backed Houthi missile attacks. The supply ship USNS Supply earned the Navy Unit Commendation for keeping the strike group fueled and fighting for 8 straight months in hostile waters. Picture the scene. While fuel is being pumped into the carrier's tanks on the starboard side, FA-18 Super Hornets are launching and recovering on the flight deck just 200 feet away. Helicopter crews simultaneously conduct vertical replenishment operations, shuttling critical supplies that can't wait for the fuel transfer to finish. Meanwhile, both ships maintain constant vigilance for submarine threats lurking beneath the waves. The crew coordination required is absolutely remarkable. On the aircraft carrier, sailors form human chains to handle supply pallets, while thousands of gallons of aviation fuel flow through hoses overhead. Every movement is choreographed, every procedure practiced until it becomes second nature. Modern technology has made these operations safer and more efficient, but they remain inherently dangerous. The enhanced stream system can automatically adjust to different sea conditions, but it still requires the steady hands and sharp minds of American sailors to pull off successfully. The supply chain miracle, feeding the fleet. The logistics behind keeping a carrier strike group supplied in the middle of the ocean are absolutely mind-blowing. A typical strike group includes not just the aircraft carrier, but also 2 to 3 guided missile destroyers, a cruiser, an attack submarine, and the all-important fast combat support ship. That's about 7,500 sailors and Marines who need food, fuel, ammunition, and spare parts delivered regularly, all while operating thousands of miles from the nearest port. During Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, carrier air wings set records for combat support sorties. The USS Theodore Roosevelt's Air Wing flew over 4,200 combat missions in 6 months, dropping precision-guided weapons in support of ground troops. Every single one of those missions required fuel, weapons, and maintenance supplies delivered by ships in the middle of the ocean. The numbers are staggering. A single deployment consumes enough food to feed a city of 20,000 people for a month. The ammunition requirements alone would fill dozens of railroad cars, and all of this has to be delivered to ships moving at 25 knots through international waters, often in rough seas and hostile environments. The Military Sealift Command operates the world's most capable at-sea logistics network. Their fast combat support ships can deliver fuel at rates up to 4,000 gallons per minute, transfer ammunition weighing tons per pallet, and even conduct emergency medical evacuations using helicopters.
Life insurance used to mean death insurance. Not anymore. Last year, my husband collapsed at work with a heart attack.
These civilian crewed vessels serve alongside Navy ships with the same dedication and professionalism as their uniformed counterparts. Here's what makes it even more impressive. These ocean refueling operations often happen simultaneously with combat missions. While fuel flows into the carrier's tanks, fighter jets are launching strikes against enemy targets hundreds of miles away. The supply ships become floating gas stations, grocery stores, and ammunition depots all rolled into one. Recent innovations include advanced fuel handling systems that can automatically compensate for ship movement in heavy seas. These technologies ensure that even the newest Ford-class carriers can be supplied efficiently in any ocean conditions. Modern marvels, technology at sea. Today's ocean refueling operations represent the cutting edge of naval technology. The enhanced stream system can handle everything from massive fuel transfers to delicate electronic components, automatically adjusting to different cargo weights and sea conditions. Computer-controlled tensioning systems maintain perfect cable tension even as ships rise and fall with ocean swells. But the most exciting development is happening in the air above these ocean operations. The MQ-25 Stingray drone tanker is revolutionizing how carriers extend their reach. While the main ship conducts traditional UNREP operations for bulk fuel, these unmanned aircraft can fly 500 miles from the carrier to refuel combat jets that are running low during extended missions.
That's fucking wild.
This matters because currently about 20 to 30% of carrier-based Super Hornets are tied up in buddy tanking missions, using expensive fighter jets to refuel other fighter jets. The MQ-25 will free up those aircraft for combat missions while extending the carrier's operational reach far beyond what traditional ocean refueling alone can achieve. International cooperation is expanding these capabilities even further. American and French naval forces recently conducted successful tests allowing French Rafale fighters to refuel U.S. Navy aircraft during operations in the Philippine Sea. This kind of allied interoperability makes NATO naval forces incredibly flexible during joint operations. The integration of these systems means that a carrier strike group can operate independently for months at a time. Ocean refueling provides the bulk fuel and supplies, while airborne tankers extend individual aircraft range far beyond what would otherwise be possible. Advanced weather routing systems now help supply ships find the calmest seas for refueling operations, while satellite communications allow precise coordination between vessels separated by hundreds of miles. Heroes of the high seas. Real operations. The men and women who conduct these ocean refueling operations deserve our deepest respect and admiration. During the recent Red Sea crisis, the USS Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group spent 296 days at sea, nearly 10 months, defending international shipping against Iranian-backed attacks. They conducted more than 100 UNREP operations while under constant threat of missile and drone attacks. The USNS Supply, one of the fast combat support ships supporting the Eisenhower, earned special recognition for her crew's exceptional performance. Working around the clock in dangerous waters, they kept the entire strike group supplied with fuel, food, and ammunition. Their dedication allowed American naval forces to maintain continuous pressure on hostile forces while protecting vital shipping lanes. These operations showcase the incredible capability and resolve of American naval forces. While other nations struggle to keep even one carrier operational far from home, the U.S. Navy routinely maintains multiple carrier strike groups deployed worldwide, all sustained by ocean refueling operations. During Typhoon Hagibis in 2019, the USS Ronald Reagan conducted emergency UNREP operations in 30-foot seas to ensure the strike group remained combat-ready while providing humanitarian assistance to storm victims in Japan. The precision and skill required to transfer fuel in those conditions demonstrates the exceptional training and dedication of our naval personnel. Every successful ocean refueling operation represents hours of dangerous, precise work by sailors who make it look routine. Their professionalism ensures that American naval power can respond to any crisis anywhere in the world and stay there as long as needed. Closing, from Chester Nimitz's first successful at-sea refueling in 1917 to today's sophisticated computer-controlled systems and drone tankers, the ability to refuel aircraft carriers in the middle of the ocean remains one of America's greatest strategic advantages. It's more than just an engineering achievement. It's a testament to American ingenuity, determination, and the unwavering dedication of our naval forces. Every day, somewhere in the world's oceans, American sailors are conducting these dangerous, precise operations that keep our nation safe and our allies protected. While enemy ships must return to port for fuel, American carriers can stay on station indefinitely, ready to respond to any threat. The next time you see news about American naval operations responding to a global crisis, remember the incredible ocean refueling network that makes it all possible. These floating gas stations ensure that American naval power can reach anywhere, anytime, and stay there as long as freedom requires. If this look inside naval operations impressed you as much as it should, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories about the amazing capabilities that keep America strong on the world's oceans.
That's
Are
crazy.
you getting the runaround from workers' comp?
I
after
seen
your-
that video the other day. I was like, holy shit, man. 7,000 meals a day. 17,000 meals a day. It's crazy.
President Trump says Iran.
Shut up.
The
U.S. blockade. I still think them people are sneaking oil out. I don't think they're fucking getting away with that. Let's see what all Al Jazeera is saying.
I'm not satisfied with it, so we'll see what happens. Iran wants to make a deal because they have no military left, essentially, and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.
Why were you not seeking congressional approval to extend it?
Because it's never been sought before. There's been many times, and nobody's ever gotten it before. They consider it totally unconstitutional. But we're always in touch with Congress. But nobody's ever sought it before. Nobody's ever asked for it before. It's never been used before. Why should we be different?
Are you willing to send anybody to Islamabad?
We have great respect for Pakistan and Islamabad and tremendous respect for the Prime Minister and the Field Marshal. And they're working with us. They continue to work with us. But the trip is a very long one, and we're doing everything in terms of negotiating right now, in terms of the negotiation telephonically. They've made strides, but I'm not sure if they ever get there. There's tremendous discord. They're having a tremendous problem getting along with each other in Iran. The leadership is very disjointed. It's got 2 to 3 groups, maybe 4, and it's a very disjointed leadership. And with that being said, they all want to make a deal, but they're all messed up. I spoke with the winner, a very good man, As you know, I was very strongly in favor of him in Iraq. And we had a long conversation yesterday. I congratulated him. He won, and with our help, he won, and we want him to do very well. And I told him that the United States is with him all the way. It was a great victory. The new head of Iraq is somebody that we support very strongly.
Vavor 100 amp hour AGM battery, guys. Now, if you need a nice battery.
Pakistan has opened the land route with Iran. Did they consult you before opening it up to Iran? And are you aware of this?
That was a vicious bee. Yeah. I know everything about it. Yeah, I have great respect. Yeah, are you from Pakistan?
No, I'm not from Pakistan.
I have great respect for Pakistan and for the Field Marshal and for the Prime Minister. Yeah, I know that.
On the European Union yesterday, you talked about Italy and the withdrawal of troops from Europe, from Italy and Spain. Can you clarify with your words?
Well, I'm not happy with Italy and I'm not happy with Spain. And they've done. They feel it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Anybody that feels it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon is not very smart. And it'll be a terrible thing in the future. If they were ever allowed to have a nuclear weapon, you would have problems the likes of which the world has never seen before, and it's not going to happen. And aside from that, right now they have no Navy, it's been wiped out, no Air Force, it's been wiped out. They have no anything. They have no anti-aircraft. They have no radar. They have no leaders because, frankly, their leaders are very disjointed. They have a lot of problems right now. They're not getting along with each other. Their leaders are not getting along with each other.
What's up, Joe?
We raised the tariffs on cars coming in from the European Union because the European Union was not adhering to the trade deal we have. So based on that, now, when they build their plants, of which they're spending over $100 billion, all countries, not just the Union. And when those plants open, there won't be any tariffs. But we raised the tariffs because they were not, as usual, they were not adhering to the agreement that we have. We have a trade deal with the European Union. They were not adhering to it. So I raised the tariffs on cars and trucks to 25%. That's billions of dollars coming into the United States, and it forces them to move their factory production much faster. We have right now in the United States over $100 billion of car plants being built. It's a record. We've never had anything like it from all countries, Japan, South Korea, by the way, Canada, Mexico, they're all building plants in the United States. But the European Union was not adhering to the deal that we made. So we're dealing with Iran. As you know, it's a very disjointed, unfriendly leadership, unfriendly to each other. They're not getting along. They're very, very confused by what's happened because essentially most of their military has been wiped out. But we just had a conversation with Iran. Let's see what happens. But I would say that I am not happy. Their leadership is very disjointed, very argumentative with each other. They come back, one says one thing, one says another. They're very confused. Obviously, their country has been, frankly, decimated. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Many of their soldiers, unfortunately, are gone. They've got to come up with the right deal. At this moment, I'm not satisfied with what they're doing.
Did you decide against bailing out Spirit Airlines?
Well, I guess we're looking at it. If we could do it, we'd do it, but only if it's a good deal.
Claiming that they're preparing to shut down this weekend.
No shit, top. No, I hadn't heard that now. That's the first time I've heard anything about that. They should be happy with that. But, you know, here's the thing. I think they want to fuck them people up.
We're looking at it, but if we can't make a good deal, no institution's been able to do it. I said, I'd like to save the jobs, but we'll have an announcement sometime today. We gave them we gave them a final proposal.
Excuse me. Mr. President, it's day 60. Are you going to seek congressional authorization for?
No other country has ever done it. It's never been, as you know, most people consider it totally unconstitutional. Also, we had a ceasefire, so that gives you additional time. But no other country's done it. We're in the midst of a big victory. This is a victory like we haven't had since Venezuela, okay, to be honest with you. We haven't had, but, you know, we have a country that lost its way. It really lost its way. That's our country in terms of the military. Now we have a great military. We're on our way to another victory, a big victory. And I don't think that it's constitutional what they're asking for. These are not patriotic people that are asking. You know, when they say, even the losers, even the ones that say all the wrong things, admit that it's been amazing what we've done. The strait is totally shut down. It's flawless. It's totally 100% shut down. Now, we've been dealing with Iran. They want to make a deal. They're not there. They're not with us. They're sort of, they get close, and then a new group of people come in. They don't know who their leaders are. They have no idea who their leaders are, but they're very confused.
Geopolitics, where the solution to a crisis is sitting directly in front of the people responsible for solving it, and instead of reaching for it, they push it away. What you're about to hear is one of those moments. Iran is holding 450 kilograms of enriched uranium that can be converted to weapons-grade material in a matter of weeks. The United States has one central demand: get rid of it. And right now there is exactly one exit for that material, one proven, tested, internationally verified pathway that removes it from Iran safely and permanently. And Washington just slammed the door shut. That decision, made quietly, without headlines, without explanation, may be the single most consequential strategic miscalculation of this entire crisis. And almost no one is telling you why. If you're someone who wants to understand what's actually driving these decisions, not the surface level headlines, not the political theater, but the real mechanics underneath, then subscribe right now. This channel breaks down the strategic logic behind global events before the consequences become impossible to ignore. Hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. To understand why this moment matters, you have to start with a single number.
And take it serious.
U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly rejected Russian President Vladimir Putin's proposal to move Iran's enriched uranium to Russia as part of a deal to end the war. Now, a report from Axios revealed that the Russian President Putin, he shared several ideas with U.S. President Donald Trump for ending the war in a phone call this week. It added that the uranium proposal was also one of them. Furthermore, the Axios report, quoting a U.S. official, said that Trump is talking to everyone, including the Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and the Europeans. The officials also said that the U.S. president is willing to make a deal, but added that it has to be a good deal. The U.S. official cited in the Axios report said that this is not the first time that Washington had turned down an offer from Moscow. Earlier, the U.S. rejected similar proposals from Russia just a month before Iran's nuclear facilities were attacked by Israel and the United States. And this was during the 12-day war that took place in June last year. The report added that similar proposals have been pitched by Moscow just weeks before the ongoing war broke out. During the previous round of talks before the war, Iran rejected the idea of transferring the uranium and instead proposed to dilute the same inside its own facilities under the supervision of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA. So far, there is no clarity as to whether Iran would accept the proposal now. Axios previously reported that US and Israel are mulling to deploy special forces into Iran to secure the nuclear stockpile at a later stage of the war. According to the report, Russian President Putin's offer on paper.
Watch baseball all season long. Catch the action live with YouTube TV. Terms apply. Cancel anytime.
Why does a man that with his, why would a man with his stature need to be the president of the United States? I haven't really figured that out with him. It's not like he needs it. He doesn't need the power. Fuck, he's already a powerful person. If anything, being a president limits him to what he can and can't do.
So they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it. So we'll see what happens. Iran wants to make a deal because they have no military left, essentially, and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.
Why are you not seeking congressional approval to extend it?
Because it's never been sought before. There's been many times.
I know it.
Nobody's ever gotten it before. They consider it totally unconstitutional. But we're always in touch with Congress. But nobody's ever sought it before. Nobody's ever asked for it before. It's never been used before. Why should we be different?
Are you willing to send anybody to Islamabad? Your envoy?
We have great respect for Pakistan and Islamabad and tremendous respect for the Prime Minister and the Field Marshal. And they're working with us. They continue to work with us. But the trip is a very long one, and we're doing everything in terms of negotiating right now, in terms of the negotiation telephonically. They've made strides, but I'm not sure if they ever get there. There's tremendous
That statement right there
there's
tells you all you
tremendous-
need to know.
They're having a tremendous problem getting along with each other in Iran. The leadership is very disjointed. It's got 2 to 3 groups, maybe 4, and it's a very disjointed leadership. And with that being said, they all want to make a deal, but they're all messed up.
I don't think they'll ever get there. That says everything.
I spoke with the winner, a very good man. As you know, I was very strongly in favor of him in Iraq. And we had a long conversation yesterday. I congratulated him. He won, and with our help, he won, and we want him to do very well. And I told him that the United States is with him all the way. It was a great victory. The new head of Iraq is somebody that we support very strongly.
Pakistan has opened the land route with Iran. Did they consult you before opening it up to Iran? And are you aware of it?
That was a vicious bee. I know everything about it. Yeah, I have great respect. Are you from Pakistan? I have great respect for Pakistan and for the Field Marshal and for the Prime Minister. Yeah, I know that.
Yesterday, you talked about Italy and the withdrawal of troops from Europe, from Italy and Spain. Can you clarify with your words?
Well, I'm not happy with Italy, and I'm not happy with Spain. And they feel it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Anybody that feels it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon is not very smart. And it'll be a terrible thing in the future. If they were ever allowed to have a nuclear weapon, you would have problems, the likes of which the world has never seen before, and it's not going to happen. And aside from that, right now they have no Navy, it's been wiped out, no Air Force, it's been wiped out. They have no anything. They have no anti-aircraft, they have no radar, they have no leaders.
Well, if they ain't got no radar, how in the fuck are they shooting? God dang it. How in the hell did they shoot the drone down then? He says shit.
The likes of which the world has never seen before, and it's not going to happen. And aside from that, right now they have no Navy, it's been wiped out, no Air Force, it's been wiped out. They have no anything. They have no anti-aircraft, they have no radar, they have no leaders, because frankly, their leaders are very disjointed. They have a lot of problems right now. They're not getting along with each other. Their leaders are not getting along with each other. So. We raised the tariffs on cars coming in from the European Union because the European Union was not adhering to the trade deal we have. So based on that, now, when they build their plants, of which they're spending over $100 billion, all countries, not just the Union. And when those plants open, there won't be any tariffs. But we raised the tariffs because they were not, as usual, they were not adhering to the agreement that we have. We have a trade deal with the European Union. They were not adhering to it. So I raised the tariffs on cars and trucks to 25%. That's billions of dollars coming into the United States, and it forces them to move their factory production much faster. We have right now in the United States over $100 billion of car plants being built. It's a record. We've never had anything like it from all countries, Japan, South Korea, by the way, Canada, Mexico, they're all building plants in the United States. But the European Union was not adhering to the deal that we made.
I hope he figures it out, man. I really do. What's up, Sooner History? You awful hard on old Trump, man. You awful hard on old Trump. Let's go watch old Luke McFadden. I like watching this kid.
You guys, after years of marriage, this right here is absolute magic. Blue Chew Gold is the
Never mind.
Oh my God, I can already tell. Holy cow! I have no business having something this nice. Seriously, dude, this is crazy.
I'm not sure if I should wrap you in bubble wrap so you don't mess up the boat, or wrap the boat in bubble wrap.
Yes. All the things that we got to fix on the Sea Pro before we go to Florida. It needs some work. It's a 25-year-old boat. This thing's from 2001. I bought it brand used. We did a lot of work rewiring it last year, and then we used it all summer. I was pretty hard on it, and I just didn't have any time to fix any of the things that were breaking on it. Now is the time to reconcile all the things. We have quite the list. I'm going to have to write it down so I don't forget, actually. So usually I write it down on the cowling of the engine or somewhere on the boat, but this boat's actually what I consider my nice boat. So I'm not going to write it all over the boat unless I can't find something else to write on. All right. The batteries that need to be addressed. We also have scupper holes. All right. So this was a scupper hole, and that means that's where the water on the deck drains off into, so that the boat doesn't sink and stuff. When you get water on the deck, it's like they call it self-bailing. That basically goes to a tube that then goes out the back of the boat. The problem was this is the old one. It's all nasty. It's probably original, and it's got big barbs that stick off the back, or it did until they broke off. Then the problem was that when you have a hole on the outside of the boat under the water line, and then your hose breaks, the hull fills with water. So we almost sunk it this summer. We were like, wow, the bilge pump's running a lot. That was the problem. So I had to jerry rig it. But now I'd like to fix it so that works properly. The other side of the boat, I would like to replace that one as well. Problem is, you open this up, and there's no access to the back side of this drain. So I don't know how the heck you get to that. I mean, you really kind of can't. Yeah, you can't. So we got scuppers to address. The other thing, I can't put fuel in this thing. For some reason, you have to go ultra, ultra, ultra slow, or else it shuts the fuel pump, or the fuel pump off and spits fuel out of the vent like it's full, but it's not full. The other problem is that the fuel gauge doesn't work. So between that and this, you have zero idea how much fuel is in this boat. You only know if you're at the pump and you can read how much you can manage to get in there. But it takes me an hour at the pump to fill this thing up because You have to go so slow. But the issue is there's no access to tank or the vent. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do about that. It's going on the list. Fuel fill / vent. Related to that issue is the fuel sender. Take a look at this fuel sender real quick. So this thing is the same as what's in your car.
And I just replaced that over the summer.
Yeah. This is the sending unit. So this thing has a little float on a stick that drops down, and then when it goes up and down, it sends a signal to your gauge and tells you how much fuel is in your tank. It doesn't work. And we've replaced it, and it still doesn't work. We have some sort of stray current issue or something, grounding problem or something, because this sending unit, I mean, we put it in like midsummer, so it's only a couple months old. Yeah, this thing looks like it's been sitting at the bottom of the bay for 20 years. So we have some kind of issue here. We're going to have to address that. We're also going to replace this hatch because this hatch leaking doesn't help. That's definitely making it 1,000 times worse, but I think there's a separate problem. So it's going on the list. All right, so now you guys hear that weird noise. That is the trim tabs on the boat turning on and turning off. It's like waking up and going to sleep. I think it's because the batteries were totally dead and now we're getting power to it. And a lot of times when you have low voltage, electrical systems don't like that. They just start kind of freaking out. So Riley's looking into it.
That should solve that issue. That's killed everything.
Beautiful. All right, another problem we have that needs fixed is the caulk around the console. This is not like super high priority, but it definitely will help with things like not getting water on the sending unit. So you can see that caulk is 25 years old around the console, and it's starting to come apart. But that just means when you get wet or dirt or anything on the boat, it's going down in there and it's getting into the hull, and it's not great. It's not ideal. So I'm gonna have to pull some of the loose stuff out and then just kind of caulk over the rest. So we'll see.
Now we're about to cut it all out.
Caulk and paint, make her what she ain't.
Caulk and paint, make her what she ain't.
Another thing is down here in this live well, which is nice in Florida because it's big. I can fit lots of pilchards or whatever. There's a crack in it. That's a relatively easy problem to solve, I think. I'm just gonna like hit that with some sandpaper and put some 5200 over it. The tank is plastic. It's not even fiberglass. You can't really fiberglass fix it. The other thing that I've noticed is that this tank is just like a inlay, and then around the inside rim, it just goes into the inside of the console and it's not sealed. When I have this full of bait, I'll be running and it's splashing and I'm like, why are my feet getting wet? Water is running out of the console because the water splashes around in the live well, just goes down into the console all over the batteries and everything. So I'd like to seal the top edge of that. Fix, seal. Another thing that's busted, that's been fixed before, but now it needs fixed again, is this right here. So this is actually going to be kind of a tricky thing to fix. This hatch, it's nice, and it makes a nice handle. You can open it easily, but you can see where this is all aftermarket, probably gel coat that somebody put on here that's peeling off. And I can see where somebody sanded this fiberglass and tried to repair it, and it keeps falling out of there. So I have the pieces. I did save the pieces.
Well, yeah, I think it was epoxy and very poorly prepped. And if you look right there, someone's hit with a grinder, but down here, that's still shiny, and they just gel coat over the shiny parts. You can't do that.
So this is, at least will help just the backing, so I can lay some new glass on that. Very hard to fix where it's not going to break again. The problem is I could fix it, make it look nice. You almost have to put blocking in there or something, but you can't really do that. People kept stepping on it all year, and so it cracked in 2 more spots as well.
Looks like someone prepped it with a freaking rock.
Maybe they did. I don't know. Fix the starboard forward hatch. Pretty much none of the speakers work. We had a banging sound system in this thing. It was honestly one of the best parts about this boat. Somehow throughout the summer, like speakers just started to not work. By the end of the year, we just had like 1 speaker working. I rewired all of that myself last year, which is probably the reason it's not working anymore. Ooh, I spelled radio with 2 eyes. We're going to get the C deck redone, which would be nice. I'm not doing that myself. C deck. Our list is growing. Our time is getting shorter. I'd like to like mod this boat a little bit, like do some cool stuff to it. But the problem is, before I do any of that, I have to fix all the things that are broken. I will be shocked if we get all these things done before Florida, much less do anything to like mod this boat. I'm going to take everything out of it.
And I enjoy
life jackets, everything out the hatches. And I'm sure we're going to find more things that need to be fixed as we're doing this. That's what we're doing in this video. Sorry, 30-minute intro.
24.
We'll be all right. Oh, this seat It's kind of sad, in a sad state of affairs. Always falling apart. It takes a lot of abuse just getting beat. Maybe have that reupholstered. Maybe. But I definitely got to at least fix that. One thing I would love to do to this boat is replace the dash. So Riley was telling me about this, basically how you could get your, whatever this thing's called, depth sounder, chart plot or whatever, inlaid into like a piece of starboard, Lexan, whatever it might be.
Plexiglass.
Plexiglass? It's a piece of plastic that replaces this, and then you hook your gauges to run off of the depth finder, and your radio and all that stuff could be controlled from a screen, which would be really nice. That'd be really awesome. I'd love to do that. I don't know if we're going to have time because we have a lot of stuff to do.
Oh, they
Without
redid it.
further
This
ado, we're going to get to doing as many of these things as we can get done in the next 2 months.
Certainly wouldn't say it's clean, but it's a lot cleaner.
All right, so here's a piece of the speaker wire. There's that green in that wire. That's the copper corroding. We think that's why some of our speakers aren't working. So we're probably going to replace the speaker wire. There's quite a bit of it to run.
So here's our new scupper. We have an issue. A piece of starboard where everything's mounted is in the way. So if you see, this is not staying totally flush. It's like 1/8 of an inch off. And then we also have to stick a hose on it. But you can see it's hitting the starboard. And you can't just do that because then this doesn't sit flush. So I'm going to have to get in there and notch that starboard somehow. Just no small feat. I use the hole saw to make some room. I got to trim these little ends though. One of the big things that we want to upgrade is
cleaned up for
the electronics.
Trip, and I'm going to tell you right now, that was a boat to be fucking proud of. I don't really care for big boats like this because repowering them is expensive. That's why I always fucked with a John boat. Push comes to shove, $500, you're gone again. But that kid did a really, really good job with this boat.
And the dashboard, and this is going to be made possible by our friends at New Wire Marine. So they make custom dashboards. They make all kinds of stuff, and they also sell a lot of parts online, shipped anywhere, whatever. They are super cool people, family-owned business. They do like super, super, super sick work. We are going to get a completely custom flush mounted dashboard for the Sea Pro that they are going to make custom for this boat. So the way they do that is that they send you out this kit in the mail in a tube, but it has like a whole template thing. So you trace your dashboard and send it back to them. It comes with a return label and everything. And that is so that they can make like a completely custom, perfect dash. You guys know me. I'm more of a caveman when it comes to things. And this is pretty much simple enough that like even I could do it. So like it's totally safe for your average guy because I'm probably like a little below your average guy when it comes to doing precision work like that. We also got the hookup from Garmin. Shout out to our friends at Garmin for a new electronics package for the boat. We are going to flush mount this thing somewhere here and run all of our stuff off of this Garmin unit. But this thing does like everything, dude. Like I said, I'm not a tech guy. Riley, huge boat tech guy. He's telling me we can run 3D scanning, live scope. We could run a Garmin trolling motor off this thing. We can run the radio off of this thing. We can run Starlink, hook your laptop up to it. You can do pretty much everything. It's essentially a supercomputer for your boat. I'm really pumped to see.
Good then.
Yeah, real nice.
Better now. 6 health essentials in every bowl.
How this thing does in here. I'm excited because I think we're going to have a pretty big transformation on this boat. I think this dashboard is going to like change the entire look of the boat. So I'm super excited to get into this section of the boat, see what this is going to look like, and also grateful to have people like Garmin and New Wire helping us out here. I think it's going to be super sick. Why go through all the trouble? Why redo this and that? I always complained about this boat not having is a compass, just a regular compass. Crabbing and whatever, I've always navigated with a compass. Helps you keep your heading, especially at night, in the dark, in the fog, whatever. It's just, in my opinion, I like to not have to rely 100% on electronics. Riley was like, well, where are we going to put this? We don't want to give up the cup holders. Where are we going to put a compass? I don't really want to mount one here. I just want a compass. So we're redoing the entire boat. I'm excited for my compass.
First order of business, we got to remove this dash. And I'll probably have to figure out later what to do about all these screws that are all stripped out, but that's a problem for later. We'll leave those two. I got to get this storage compartment out. The issue with that is there's so little room on the dash that there's actually stuff wired in the back of that too. Since Luke wants a compass. We're putting the Garmin right here. We're using a hideaway radio. So we're getting rid of this. We're connecting all the gauges through NEMA 2000. New Wire is providing new switches. No more of these ugly old school rocker switches. It's got push button switches. Pretty sure they're going to have built-in breakers too. Take up very little real estate. They're also providing a brand new glove box, because Luke does love his glove box. But the whole dash is going to be so much cleaner, sleeker. Everything you name it, it's going to be better. And also, I want to say thank you to all the people, such as New Wire and Garmin, that are helping us with this, because everything in this whole area in this boat drives me nuts, and I would have never gotten Luke to do it if it wasn't for other people helping. All right, so what we're doing now is we got the dash panel out, and we're moving all the gauges, and pretty much most of this stuff is not going to be used, with the exception of a few things, which I think everything's already still labeled. Yeah, we'll have to go through each one, and we should be left with just a couple wires, and then we can go ahead and start making the template. Now we're going to take the kit supplied by New Wire, so hand me that. So inside this kit, there should be instructions, and there's also a video on their YouTube page, New Wire Marine. There's the plastic. Oh, we got low ceilings in here. They include the return label, which is nice. You don't have to deal with trying to get a label printed out. They've already done it. Hopefully they give you enough plastic. Oh yeah, they give you plenty of plastic in case you mess up a few times. I like that. Tape it to it so it doesn't move. I saw their video, and if the line's like a little off a hair, they're not going to follow that exact. They're going to assume that it should be straight, yeah, because they know you're doing it by hand. I'm going to keep probably about a 1/4 inch from the edges. I'm just go around and start marking. Ta-da! There's our template. So what I'm doing now is I'm replacing 2 4-channel amps with a single 8-channel amp. Replace all the speaker wire. We had an extra fuse panel or distribution block, my bad, right there, that was no longer being used. Just basically give us a clean slate, removing all the things I know that we will not need. I know we cleaned up a lot of stuff before, but really all we did is tidy things up and shorten some wires. I mean, look at that mess of wires shoved down that hole. I'm trying to get some of the Hummingbird wires out. Nothing will move, nothing will budge. Everything is just tied up. And when I go to put it back in there, I will have everything bundled up. So did this boat absolutely need this to be done? Not really, but for the long run, it surely helps. Not only does the fuel gauge not work, even after I replace the sender, that wouldn't be the biggest issue if, when you fill the boat up, it took fuel. You never know how much fuel is in this boat. You can run it for hours and hours and hours and hours, and it's blowing fuel. The vent's kind of hard to get to in this boat, and there's been some jerry rigging going on. It's down inside this rod holder. Oh, there it is. And it looks a little gummy, so we're going to head and replace that. So it's been a few days. Some more parts have showed up. This boat has a small console. Somehow or another, we got to fit all this stuff in there. We have this Fusion Apollo radio that just gets mounted, connects through NEMA 2000, and plugged right into the Garmin GPS, so you can control everything from there. The boat used to have 2 4-channel amps, because the boat has 8 speakers. I'm going with a single 8-channel amp from JL Audio. Also got a brand new transducer. It's a pretty nice transducer. But some other things. So we have a NEMA 2000 starter kit, some NEMA 2000 drop cables, more NEMA 2000 stuff, more NEMA 2000 drop cables, a brand new negative bus bar, and brand new speaker wire. So here's the start of the backbone. These are your terminating resistors. Now look at that. Isn't that just a beautiful mess of wires? Drop cable, drop cable, drop cable, I believe power wire, drop cable, fluid level sensor, which is this is how you get the fuel gauge reading onto the NEMA network. And the last one's going to be an engine interface cable, which again, that's for engine data. Now, when you go to mount this to the boat, something that's important is you want all these connected and facing downwards. Condensation, water, gravity, goes downhill, it'll get an each connector. You don't want that. Wow, that is so cute. Oh, this is actually smaller than I thought it was too.
So the way I'm thinking is the main power feed for the bus bar come up to this breaker here, and then you'll have the jumper wire to feed the bus panel to make sure that the main power for that is fused. Because yes, all of the accessories coming off of it have their own fuses, but that way the power feed supplying power is also on a breaker. And then .com, get yourself 6 hours of relaxing.
Please, for me. For me.
And then maybe next year we can afford to get our boat reupholstered.
It's crazy how much that cleaned it up. Look at that.
You can really see the difference over here.
Also, John is leaving for Mexico tomorrow.
We're not going to see John for like almost 2 months.
Dudes, people still ask me all the time about John's trip to Mexico. So he's doing it again. He's taking his van all the way to Mexico.
Having done it once successfully doesn't make me any more confident that I can do it again.
I told him that statistically, he's actually in worse shape now because he made it with zero trouble. This man drove that van. That is awesome. The attention to detail is just like insane. And look at this, even stuff like this. This is that hatch that we put in. Look at that. I didn't notice that. It's got, oh, that's sweet. Its very own piece right on the hatch. That is so awesome. Got the rulers down here.
Yeah, that shit look good.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. And the boat is just so like pretty and clean and everything is just like perfect. Look at that. Wow. Even inside there's, I didn't even know it was white. No. That's insane. I do not envy the people that had to clean this boat and do all that repair.
Guys back there.
Right there?
Yeah.
All right, get them. Show them. They're the real MVPs right here. Oh, they're all over the place. Look. Holy cow, there's people everywhere. I didn't even know. That's awesome. I'm geeking out over here. This is amazing. That is amazing.
You didn't notice the starboard yet. It's all, it looks so much better than what you had before.
What?
Come on now. Yeah, I was building that piece of the side of that FedEx truck I cut out to make my casting platform. And Michelle cut out a piece of starboard that looks way nicer. And this is just amazing. Look at that. That is so cool. That is beautiful. That is crazy. I cannot thank you enough, and your whole team. Like you guys are seriously awesome. Seriously, I appreciate it.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Nah, man, you guys outdid yourself.
Ain't that crazy how they do that shit?
This is amazing. I've been so excited to see this thing. This
I
is
wanted
like,
to send you pictures last night, but Jay.
no, I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't because I was like so excited to see this thing in person. This is pretty much Lindsay's boat. Like she loves this thing. So
Let me say that I've never seen Luke take his shoes off to get in any of his own boats before. So
it's a first.
Oh my God. Whoa.
What do you think?
This is amazing. This is beautiful.
Pretty sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't even look like our boat.
I know. It
At
looks
all.
totally different.
Step on the helm
It's
pad.
crazy.
What's that?
That right there. Feel that.
Ooh, that's nice.
The knee pad.
Got a knee pad.
And see, like,
this
with
is, okay, this is nice too. The little like.
Yeah, that's for when I'm fighting those big fish, you know.
All right, so we got fiberglass fixed over here, which I'm really excited about.
Yep, and sit on this thing too. It's the same as the helm pad. It's a cushioned. See, so underneath it's super thick and it's super soft.
Yeah, I see that. Ooh, that's really nice.
Isn't that nice?
I like the blue. The blue's really nice.
Doesn't it look good?
Kind of makes it pop, and this is super.
Isn't that cool?
This is amazing.
That
I
thing
didn't know they were gonna do it in the the colors.
Yeah.
Dude, John's gonna lose his mind when he sees that.
I know.
I can't believe how clean it is.
Shiny.
Yeah.
It's so shiny.
Yeah, I had a
Finally,
Sundance.
the
You know what
entire-
that
that's what we're
is?
gonna name
Up top, I had a 17-foot Sundance with a 90-horse Johnson on it. That fucker would run 65 miles an hour, but it wouldn't turn.
Video finally getting my compass.
It was way overpowered.
That's the only thing you
Originally
wanted,
come with
right?
That's how this whole thing
That's how
started.
the entire build started, is because I wanted a compass.
Oh, I didn't even see.
Even
this.
Michelle was like, "Who the heck puts a compass on their boat?" I was like, "Me, I'm 85. I use a compass to navigate." I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This is your boat, so
No, it's not. That's
So you
what
lay
it's
it down
about.
flat?
That's how you get away with spending the money.
Oh, those are nice. They're thick.
where'd you put the non-sticky
Damn,
trash?
it looks good.
We have wiring all done. We're still waiting on the dash from New Wire. We have a bunch of little touches, though. A lot of cool little stuff that's super satisfying because it doesn't take that long, but starts to make a big difference. So we have this cool little steering wheel. This is a different drain plug. So this drain plug will go in here in the very back. Little detail. It's got a light. This one has a light that lights up, which is pretty cool. But we also have this light that lights up. And so the little one doesn't really do a whole lot, I don't think. This drain plug also doesn't seal as well as I'd like it to. Some things like battery chargers that we need for the trolling motor. I have the seat I still have to work on this. I'm probably going to have to take this to the marina and kind of put it all together because I got to build some bracketry, but I at least wanted to bring it here and see what it looked like. And here is the brand new Garmin trolling motor. I got some rod holders. This is a phone charger that I really wanted. Bean had this. I saw he had this on his young boat build. Have these from, I saw these on Instagram.
And what was
Guys
that,
were
a
super
flat-in
cool.
phone charger?
These are, I want to put these on the side of the console to hold some of my fly rods so the butts stick in there, and then this will hold the rod. What else, Riley? What else do we have?
I kind of lost track of what I spent your money on.
I'm well
so
aware.
fast, I forgot.
I know the smoke alarm was going off the other day, and it was just my credit card. So today we are tackling the small things on this boat build.
We're at the bare minimum. You use a rag over top the nut so you don't scratch the nut.
This is autopilot. When Riley wants $4,000 Garmin autopilot, but we have autopilot at home. It's just milling down there, steering the wheel from underneath. A little detail that is pretty cool.
And that makes a little difference, but once that dash goes in, it's going to bridge this whole gap. So it's black on gray, black on gray.
I was gonna say, did you purposely color match the ship's deck with the steering wheel?
I mean, I got the steering wheel that was this color to match. I figured the ship's deck, there's a good chance it was going to be gray and our dash was going to be black. So
Rocking the Igloo shirt today. Check it out. goodasused.com.
Here we have it. The thing that sparked the entire rebuild, my compass. All right, I have a really bad idea. These go to the back of the seat, yada, yada. This would be really nice to be able to take off of here. It would make it way easier to fix my seat that's already in sad shape. But these are stainless fastener into a piece of aluminum. Probably never been removed. Definitely never greased. So it has probably pretty much a 0% chance of getting this out of here. So I'm going to bungee cord a heat gun here, I think, for a little while. See if I can get the aluminum warm enough to maybe break this fastener loose. If I can, it'll be great. If it backfires, it's really going to be
You're going to bungee cord it. It's definitely going to fall. Just sit there with it. Or just go get my torch.
I'm not sitting there for an hour.
It's going to fall and burn your brand new ship's deck.
It's all right. Michelle will fix it. Just kidding.
And there's something I've been paid for.
It's 10 p.m. Very long day. And milling. We got the transducer wire snaked from the... Oh, that's not it. Right here. Snaked from the console straight up, actually. Right to there. But it took some finagling. I have to order a new transducer for the Garmin. It's actually not the one that is going to work. We ran some extra rigging ropes in case we got to pull other wires. We also mounted unit for the trolling motor all the way up here. You can see it on the outside. Also, all the speakers, they just had screws, and like this one would always fall out. So we put 3 bolts and nuts in each speaker, all of them. Took forever. So my arms are tore up from fiberglass. That is going to suck for the next couple days. With 4 of them, hopefully this stuff works. This primer is a little old. I have to make a baffle for the gas vent. I've seen worse. Oh, I've done destroyed it. That sucks. That was way too much work for something literally nobody will ever notice except for me. I'm making my own Craig jig. I just made one. I'm gonna put it there. Fucking drill angled holes. It's got the holes drilled on an angle and the spacer, and then on the inside you'll have a baffle that goes the other way so we don't take on water. In the vent, it's got basically both ways. Won't get water in the fuel tank, hopefully. All right, so I spent entirely too much time building my fuel vent cover. This is what it looks like. Got the little thing. It'll go like that. Can you just hold this camera for a second?
It makes you go faster.
On the camera, guys. You still got to hold
I know. That's what I'm saying.
We were working on other things.
So this is a fuel vent, and this should be sufficient. But like I said, we don't have a lot of freeboard, and bay boats notoriously will take water in this, and I don't want to get any water in the fuel. And I love overcomplicating projects and making a mess.
I would shoot it backwards. You always shoot them backwards.
Because water's gonna be spraying at this angle, up and back.
You ruined my plan.
It shouldn't have.
Should ruin my baffles.
This thing's triple baffled.
This thing's triple baffled.
It'll be fine.
It actually doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, looks good.
I think it looks fine. It makes it look like it's going faster.
Mhm.
We're about to drill some holes in my boat, but these are important holes. These are for the trolling motor. We ended up having to get this plate to extend the trolling motor out. We're about to hit the point of no return. Pretty work. All right, we drilled holes and put down goop. So now
You want some across the top too?
Yeah. Just from the water spraying, it doesn't like make its way under there.
Oh,
slippery.
Yeah.
You ready?
Crunch.
I hear fiberglass crunch.
All right.
All right, one down.
It's not going anywhere.
10 to go.
Long hair. I'm not used.
This thing is the most secure freaking thing on the whole boat.
Call me for all your marine installation.
Just kidding. Don't call me.
It is March 16th.
No, I just used water.
Lindsay and I leave to go to Florida the morning of March.
I just used water, Drew. I probably should run some flush through there, but like if you ever have any saltwater corrosion, the best thing you can do, especially like with these newer outboards, they're built where you don't have to run them to flush them anymore. You just take like a pump, a couple gallons of vinegar, put it in a 5-gallon bucket, and run vinegar through there. It'll clean all that stuff out there. It neutralizes all the corrosion in it.
March 20th, which is this Friday. This is still what the boat looks like.
It doesn't look much different
I
to the
always try to buy
naked eye,
aluminum
but
boats.
there's been a lot done under the hood.
A ton. New Wire Marine, we are still waiting on the dash, and it should be arriving today. They also made their tight deadline. So huge shout out to New Wire and both ships deck. But I tell you what, even if that thing comes in today at 7 o'clock, I will probably be out here playing with it, the dashboard, because we are cutting it really close. We are literally supposed to be getting like hurricane force winds and stuff. So we may actually lose the shop. And by shop, I mean shrink wrapped garage. This is the way projects always go. We have it here from New Wire. They pulled through, got it to us. Awesome to work with, awesome to deal with, totally custom. Obviously, I'm super grateful for them being willing to work with us on this project. But the fact that they not only were willing to work with us, but also were like super stoked about it and had a bunch of their own ideas on how to make it really awesome. Put a lot of work. Mostly Riley, Millen, and New Wire have put in a lot of work to make this happen. So big shout out to all of them. I'm just the pretty face behind it all.
Yeah, we just told Luke to stay away. He's like, how can I help? We're like,
so this is something you guys can do at home. You get in touch with New Wire. They send you a template. You make a template of your thing, of your dash, and then they will do all this for you.
while you're wondering why the box is so big, they've packed it well.
Oh, yeah. Holy cow.
Hopefully my measurements were right.
I hope so, too. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Dude, it's got my logo on it. Look at that. How sweet. I did not expect that at all. That is fancy, man. And it's got a locking glove box. Look at that, dude.
Maybe I forgot to tell you that part. But they use brand as a surprise.
That is awesome. Super awesome. I don't know what this is, but it looks nice. There's a light in here. A little thing of like ship's deck in here, foam inside the cubby. I think in here's where that extra panel goes. Dude, that is seriously slick. Wow. Came with keys and everything.
Not the sidetracked, but I'm noticing like little attention to detail, like the seal. If you look right there, they didn't cut the seal all the way and just match the 45. They cut 90% of it to make the bend, but left that outside part to keep it watertight. Little things.
This thing is beyond my expectation. I cannot wait to see it with the unit in here. Like you can see all this must be CNC router work. I mean, look at that. That is some seriously precise stuff with this matte, like satin black finish. All the switches now are on these little push buttons that I assume probably light up. We got our 12-volt charger because we still rock it old school sometimes. It's always good to have one of those. You can charge anything. Here's the coolest thing. Because we are in such a time crunch, and they knew it, they pre-wired everything, okay? So all the switches that have the breakers attached, everything comes pre-wired. This is how you can tell these guys are not crabbers, okay? Because look at that. You see how they cut that zip tie? You couldn't even try to cut yourself on that.
If you're a crabber, you cut them things jagged, partially for security reasons and partially just to punish yourself next time you got to get in there. Truly the last piece of the puzzle that we need. Once we can put the brain in here, we're going to be ready to rock, dude. I'm pumped. Let's quit talking. Let's get this thing in there. Look at that thing. That is slick. Holy cow, dude. That is so slick. So slick. And look at this. The face is a matte finish, and the rest of it is a polished finish. It's just like a little detail, which is really good.
Well, this is like their Lux mat, I think they call it.
I'm nervous now. Dude, I have to take my shoes off in the boat. I can't be having fish guts on me and stuff. Like, what am I going to do?
Baking soda's the only thing I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we use to clean.
It's very important that if you're doing any sort of project with your friend or at all, you take some time to just sit there and look at what you've done. We have like another 10 hours probably of getting everything straight, but we at least need something to...
Look at just the right angle. It might look like it's installed.
Kind of does.
Right there. That's the perfect angle.
You got it? Yeah, I got my side. Oh, dude. Freaking money. That's the first time we've seen it in here, too.
Whoa.
Welcome to 2026 with your boat. Look at this. The screen cover is magnetic. Look, whole screen's flush.
Oh, that's cool.
I hope this didn't screw the dash up.
What?
Did it squeeze silicone out the dash?
Oh, God, please don't tell me you're not supposed to tighten that real hard.
They're not super tight, but they weren't very tight at all. They were like, did I screw it up? I think the boys just sent me away from the boat so they could get something done. They're handling wiring and things like that. Things that they just don't trust me to do.
So we're on the home stretches of getting this boat done. And we're actually going to take the boat to the water today to test everything out. But Millen and I, like I said, are doing the final touches. We cannot thank New Wire Marine enough for doing such a sweet job. But I have a little bit of extra time right now. So I'm doing some stuff just to surprise Luke. And one of the things included is, can you turn on the Garmin? Check that out. It's just the little things. I changed the startup image on the Garmin to say use brand. So it matches, everything else. Use brand there, use brand there, use brand on the front, use brand everywhere. I'm wearing use brand, he's wearing use brand, I'm wearing use brand on my head. Everything's use brand. So go to goodasuse.com and pick yourself out some stuff.
That's camp, man.
I'm going to be the first one to the pole, too.
You'll be the first one to scratch it, too.
Steering wheel's freaking nice. Are we hitting mud?
We're about to hit the pier. It's crazy.
Yeah, jack that thing way up.
Wow, it really does feel like a whole new boat. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but you guys know me. I am a dinosaur. I literally am an old person and technologically illiterate. So this now, to me, seems so intimidating. I know it can do a bunch of stuff, but this is probably going to be a steep learning curve for me because I literally can barely send an email. Like, I don't even have a computer. So this is a computer. This is literally like an iPad, a Marinized iPad, like in your console. So should we try the trolling motor?
Yeah.
Look at this thing. It's like a Wii controller, dude. Like we're going to go bowling or something. How the heck do you turn
so we have to
this thing
calibrate the trolling motor.
My old trolling motor, you calibrate it by just twisting the tiller.
Tight circle.
It's doing its thing. It's moving.
Hey, Danielle, that's crazy. It's controlled off the fuck.
We are trolling in a circle.
All right, let's say we want to stay in this one spot. Okay, now we're in anchor lock mode. All right, we got live scope working. There's nothing to see here.
That's live scope?
Oh, hold on. Crap. I have it set for like 50 feet of crap. 50 feet of water.
How do you change it?
Once this bar goes away, there you go. See that? Plus and minus. So that's the bottom right there. We're only 5 feet.
Oh, I see.
So that's a little bubble right there. So you can mess with gain. These are all things you can play around with and get it dialed.
All right, we tested it out. Everything's looking pretty good. I think she's ready to go. I'm pretty excited. It looks good and runs good. Trolling motor works. We got a couple things to mess with, tweak here and there, some lights to put in, battery chargers to swap around, but for the most part, I think we're pretty much good. About to head back to the house, finish packing the truck. The reason the boat is nicer is because of Riley, because I literally just wanted to put a compass on it, but he's the one that went all out and made it his project to make this boat what it is now. Huge shout out. He also has free reign of this boat. He uses this boat all the time when we're here all summer, and he's coming down to Florida. So he earned it this year for sure. I really appreciate you guys watching. Huge shout out to all the people and companies that made this build possible.
What, this is something that Riley understands that Luke don't. This boat, represents Luke in his business endeavors. You see somebody pull up with some junk, you're like, I ain't fucking with that dude. You know what I mean?
It's honestly crazy to me to have something that's genuinely really nice. I have always had things that were good.
Now that video probably won't get as many views as most Luke shit, but that was a good job, man. That was a good fucking job. Hell, I'm looking at motors right now for a backup motor for the sailboat. I was hey, Copper Top, what you know about them Hankai motors? They any good, man? I mean, I see people buying them on here all the time, but them people probably don't fish like me and you do. But for a backup motor, I was thinking, only problem is it's 2-stroke. I was looking at that 12 horsepower a minute ago. Hell, it's fairly fucking cheap. It ain't but like $700 for a brand new motor. I'm sure it's $100 for shipping. And,
Fire.
we just fucking off. We just hanging out, man. It's all crazy bastard. Y'all
It's
remember
about
him?
5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Them deer will be moving. I sound like a hard hog. Erika, what you hear? Huh? What you see, son? You see something? We're gonna go in the swamp, man, get me some pollen for my electricity. It's a damn boat I found. My hog pen. And maybe get that airplane out, that World War II airplane. Bring the engine out.
AR.
And whatever else we find. I'm fun going to find them damn artifacts.
Tell me about the plane real fast.
That plane went down with that World War II, the P-38. They was hauling, I don't know what they was hauling, something in for Ku Klux Klan, and he thought it was that damn field, and it wasn't. It was a bull boat run. He went down. When he got too low, he hit 2 fucking cypress trees, took the wings off, killed him.
Yeah, how did the Ku Klux Klan get into it?
That's what it was.
I don't understand what that means. How did
they was flying fucking either bullets or whoever was flying that plane, they was flying bullets or guns or something, maybe dynamite. I don't know what they was flying here, but they was dropping it off, and the Klan was getting it. I don't know why they was getting it. I don't know what it was. But I found when I was in the bombing range, I found by the old clutch place, I found 155-gallon drums of fucking bullets and ammunition and guns that was buried in there. That was the bombing range. That's where they practice in there, practice shooting and stuff.
So there's a bombing range out there?
Yeah, it's a bombing range, man. Mama said the soldiers would all be up in there marching down the road. They go up there and they would bomb and they would shoot guns. They got places in there that's the whole ground's nothing but bullets. The ends of them where they shot them with steel jackets, shot cars up and all kind of shit practicing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
There's a bombing range out there.
Yeah, the bombing range is about big, man. It's probably about 1,200 square acres.
Do you think there's live ordnance still out there, bombs, or these are just like ammo flight?
Yeah, they got live bombs that didn't go off. They didn't have no damn machines back then. I don't believe to find them like they do now. A lot of airhead up in there too.
And the government didn't come and try to clean that up? Or is it a preserve?
It's just, I don't know, the fire towers, I don't know what it is. Is it people lease the land down deer hunt on?
So they're deer hunting on a bomb range where there's unexploded ordnances. Are you serious?
Yes.
That can't be right. They had to clean that.
Okay, maybe they did. But you can still find bombs in that motherfucker. It's got powder in them. Big old shells. They got some of them shells this big around, man. And still got the powder in them. I had 3 or 4 of them. They stole them, motherfucker. You can't have nothing. They steal everything.
Yeah, because wouldn't you think you'd hear in the news like a fucking deer blows up in the woods or a hunter?
Who's going to do that?
Well, you know how like landmines are left over in the war and kids that are now going to wells 20 years get
man,
water.
I mean, man, a bunch of people got them unexploded shells, man. I don't know if they left them up there or lost them or what the was. They'd be laying on the ground. There'd be all kind of laying on the ground up there. That's growed up, man. It'd be thick as some going there.
All right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the bombing range is at the end of the Fire Tower Road on 190.
So
it's at the end of the Fire Tower Road on 190 highway. It's right across the Fire Tower Road. That's the bombing range. You got it's a what you call it? A fire station, a lookout station where you climb up in it real high.
Wildfire.
Look for wildfires. But back then, they didn't have no trees on it. It was all clear land. It was flat.
What's up,
Daddy said you could see from our house at Biddyco, man. It was like little rolling hills and see damn near Madisonville. They didn't have no trees. They come in and de-stumped it, and they blowed the pine, great big giant pine stumps to be 7-8 foot thick, and they made gunpowder out of it. But a damn war.
Interesting.
Oh, Shelby.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody don't give a fuck about no premium wireless. Oh, AD over there playing Arc Raiders. Oh, shit. Cashville dropping knowledge on motherfuckers. Y'all want to read it? Let's read Cashville's little post. He says, here's a fun fact. All these people have been to the Sausage Castle. Jelly Roll, several times. Adam, several times. Demon Jones, Little White, and the list goes on. Y'all keep reaching. Like, for real, just stop. Y'all are all way too invested in another man's life. Grow up. Okay. All right. All right. This man just messaged me back. I might be fixing to have to go. Hey, y'all, I will holler at y'all later. Peace. Oh, hell, still that.